Hey everyone, welcome to Lost Resort with me, TOKiMONSTA. Lost Resort is a weekly show streaming at you live every Wednesday here on Twitch. Today my guest is Felix Cartal. Felix Cartal is a Canadian-based DJ and producer, has been taking the dance floor by storm ever since releasing his first EP on Mac Records back in 2009. Over the last decade, he's released numerous albums and has worked with artists such as Cascade, Rehab. He's done remixes for Selena Gomez, Zed, Diplo, and much more. He's become one of Canada's top producers with over 1.8 million monthly listeners. So glad to have him on.
What's up?
What up, homie? Did you get your food?
I did. It just arrived. Like I was so nervous because it kept going back later and later, and then the guy just booked it. He was on a bike. I guess he just knew.
Ooh, that's nice. I like the bike delivery. Seems healthy. I don't know if you can do that in California or in LA. Riding bicycles in LA
Is
is
it?
kind of risky.
I think it depends, like what area of LA. Like I remember hearing
Oh,
about
yeah,
those
sorry.
bird scooters in like West Hollywood, and I was like, that seems terrifying to me.
I think it depends. I think you're right though. It depends on like where, and they also they throttle them anyways. I think if you take those scooters on Venice on the boardwalk, you can only go like like 2 miles an hour, something really slow. You might as well just like walk next to it.
It's true.
Um, You know what though? I just realized they kind of disappeared over the course of the pandemic. They were thriving, and then now they're all gone. I haven't seen a single one in ages.
Oh, I wonder if they just got into legal like bullshit.
I guess it's
I don't
weird. I mean, they're not already not like super sanitary things. I'm always like, oh, this has been sitting in dog poop, but you
It
know.
felt like they found this weird loophole that was like, wait, we just leave them everywhere? And they were like, I mean, there's technically no law, but it just seemed insane at the same time to me.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely like tripped over a few scooters in my day, and it kind of hurts. But they're also kind of fun, you know. If you're on tour or you're in another city and you're like, oh, I need to go, like get my hair done, or stop by Whole Foods, or I don't know, AM/PM. You can always like hop on a scooter and just
They are
just
fun.
go, especially
It's
when you're
just
too lazy to walk. Like, yeah.
yeah, I did them in San Diego, and I felt like this is the right city for these.
Oh, okay. So San Diego, San Diego, and those scooters are just a whole other thing. They have like scooter gangs. There's like kids just wilding out. Everyone's on a scooter there. I think the last
Yeah,
time I was there, which was still during the pandemic, I stopped by San Diego to visit a friend, and they're there. People are just birding the shit out over there.
yeah.
So, standard question for the show that I always ask my guests first and foremost is, how have you been doing during this pandemic? What have you been doing to pass the time?
I mean, I'm okay. I think I I I'm used to sort of being independent and working alone, so I think that leap, which a lot of people maybe have taken, wasn't as much of a struggle for me. Um, but yeah, I miss
Hmm.
traveling so much. That's like been a huge part of my life. So to have that be taken away, I think is like the hardest thing for me. Um, but I don't know. I'm okay, like I feel fortunate that I like have a job that's like quite independent, and it's given me some time to also like refocus my energy onto like what I think is important for trying to do musically and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously, I've pivoted, and I've been doing this show for many, many, many weeks. I think we started this at the end of March, so it's been going on like over 40 something weeks, 50 weeks. Someone's gonna have to tell
Crazy.
me. I don't know. But you also have your own program, so tell me a little bit about what you're doing on Twitch right now.
Yeah, so I'm just streaming every Wednesday at 7 p.m. So I'll be streaming tonight actually, and it's just me DJing. So like I was kind of playing around with different things in the beginning. I was doing a little bit of production, a little just like I kind of was like trying to figure out what I wanted to do on stream in the beginning. So it was a bit of a scramble.
Hmm.
Um, and then I realized I just missed DJing, and I was also like, am I going to become terrible at DJing if I don't keep practicing? So um, yeah, and then I've sort of found this community online Twitch, and we've got random Simpsons references and stuff, which is like a deep passion of mine, and it's just been fun. I don't know. I don't try to overthink it too much, and we just kind of run with the inside jokes that happen. We've been building this community. I get to play some music. Maybe I have a couple drinks some nights, and yeah, we don't take it too seriously, and just trying to like create like a positive environment and like share music. That's
That sounds like a lot of fun, especially like the Simpsons references. I
yeah.
was just I forgot what the context was. I think I was watching some documentary and then something kind of triggered. That's the thing about when you're really into the Simpsons, like something triggers some scene in that show and you're always like, "Oh yeah, like this happened." So I just remembered that I know you're going to know this, but like
I'm so
there's that really old scene where they have like Rainier Wolfcastle and he's a child and he's doing like the Oscar Mayer song, but like a
oh yeah.
different German version. And basically he just keeps saying the last name, like listing the last name, like spelling it out, but it just never ends. And they just like end the segment basically.
Yeah, the German last names are like 74
So
consonants or whatever.
yeah, words there are just like 5 words stuck together. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, this is,
That's why it's such a daunting language, I think.
it's pretty daunting. Pronunciation's pretty daunting. Yeah, it's not on my top languages to learn. But I appreciate other people that have taken the time to learn it. Do you speak other languages?
Well, I actually did a semester of German, so I have like
Ooh.
a grasp of that, like how that language is structured, but I definitely can't speak it. But I feel like it's quite logical. I feel like a lot of German things are they make sense. They just look sort of daunting, but it's like
Hmm.
there's efficiency in their culture. Um, and then like, yeah, I speak French, so I did French immersion, but it's pretty bad at this point because I don't practice anymore.
Oh, well, you can always like hop over to French Canada and practice.
It's true. You speak Korean, right?
Yeah, I speak Korean. I speak Korean because I am Korean, but then I also took Japanese for 4 years in high school and 2 years in college. So I like have 6 years of Japanese, but like you don't use it, you definitely lose it. So,
Is there like
um,
are there a lot of similarities between Korean and Japanese,
oh,
or
like the languages are structured the same. So this is not about music, but basically, it's the sentences are structured TTPOV. So it's time, topic, object, place, verb. So that's the thing about these particular East Asian languages. The verb is at the end. So you go, market, I will go. You know, like
yeah,
the Yoda kind of speak. So everything's kind of backwards. But if you're not used to that, it can be really hard. But like when I was taking Japanese, I'd be like, okay, wait, how do I structure this in Korean? And I'll just like sort of transpose it. So the words are very similar too. So I mean, they're like an hour away on the airplane. So
yeah.
no matter if they're beefing, they kind of like still like each other.
I was
I
reading
love
this.
Japan.
I love Japan too, and I love Korea too. I was reading this thing. I think it was maybe in a Malcolm Gladwell book about how he was saying that language is a big reason why Asian culture are like better at math because the way the language is structured is actually there's a point here like because the way that you count in those languages you would say like instead of saying 30 or 40 you'd say like 310 410 so then kind of once you
Yeah.
learn 3 plus 4 you kind of already know how to add like 30 and 40 because you don't have to learn the new language really that's he says that's how
Hmm.
that language is structured. I don't know if that's true or if like because I don't know those languages but I just like I'm always
Yeah.
interested like how language changes like culture and things like that.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I never thought about that. It's interesting because I like saw my dentist yesterday and they were kind of calculating what my bill would be or whatever. And none of us knew how to calculate something. It was really simple. It was like 27 plus like 8 or something like that. And we're like, wait, how do we do this? And we're all Asian. We're like, so one person has to pull out their like iPhone to do the calculator. It
Yeah.
was pretty funny. And we're like, we're not good at math. So
No, and
I would say like,
I don't feel like it's like I'm not saying generically all people who are Asian are good at math, but I'm just saying yeah, it was just interesting like that was his reason why maybe this stereotype exists a little bit or something. I
oh
don't know.
yeah, no, I don't doubt that there's like some logic, but it's also like for every smart person, there's a dumb person, and for every person, there's someone online buying stocks for GameStop right now. So
For sure. For sure.
there's yeah,
And most
that
people
thing is
most people
crazy,
just
huh?
most people just fucking hate math. Everyone's like, "Oh, math, that's just not for me." And I'm like, "All right, well, good luck learning, I guess."
Yeah, I mean, music is very much oriented in lots of math. Technically,
Yeah.
it's a lot of
Do you
math.
count are you counting math when you DJ like thinking about like bar lengths and like I'm like always dividing everything by like 8 and 4 when I DJ because it's like that's when you're coming in, you know? It's like groups of
Yeah,
4 play.
yeah, I think
But
so. I mean, with music, everything is very much structured for 4 4 anything in multiples of 2. So it's like, even when you're producing a song, right? It's like, okay, well, after the fourth bar, I should, change up the drums a little. After the eighth bar, then maybe I should change up the drums even more. After the 16th, I have to do something different because it's going to go into a chorus, which is going to be another 8 bars, And I mean, that's kind of the formulaic component of how music can be, though a lot of people obviously try to break that structure. But a lot of pop music is like that. You can like count down when something's going to happen in the song.
I think that's like a Beethoven thing. Like after you hear something 4 times, you always need to change something, or I don't know. There's some like quote by him. I'm bad with remembering the exact quote, but something like that.
It is something like that. That's basically all the pandemic is, something like that. I can't even remember. So yesterday was my birthday, and I remember someone sent me a DM. Thank you. It's been a weird one. It's technically like not my birthday, but I appreciate it because I don't get to hear it from many people, so I'll take it. Someone I knew had sent me a message, and they had saw something I reposted, which was a birthday from maybe the previous year, like just last year. And they're like, "Oh, I remember celebrating this with you," and I was like, "Oh, you weren't there for that one, And the reason why I know is because the previous birthday I was with an ex-boyfriend, and this was a friend of his. And I was like, well, this last birthday you weren't there because he wasn't there either, And then he's like, yeah, so like I remember that birthday. It was really fun. I was like, oh, yeah, I think you were there the previous year, but it was really fun. He's like, oh yeah, I don't know. He's like, all pre-COVID memories are just all blurring together. And I was like, you know what? I feel that. So
I feel that too.
It's something.
Time is like, what I was thinking about this the other day. It feels like months are fast, but days are long or something. I don't know. It's very, that's kind of how it's like every day feels long to me because it's sort of repetitive in nature. But then like, I don't know. It feels like it feels like this thing's been going on for like 4 years to me at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. Is this just like, is it just like this? I feel like it's summer vacation, but when you don't have anything to do. So, like when you're like in elementary or middle school and you're like, it's summer vacation, but you have no friends to play with, and you're just like watching like Nick Jr. on TV all day or something. Then you're like, I don't know what else to watch, but I Love Lucy. Kind of feels like that. Shout out to the chat. I see you guys. And if you have any questions, make sure to let us know. We're reading them. Thank you for everyone wishing me a happy birthday. I actually want to listen to some music. So you submitted some songs you're really into, and I want to play this first one.
Cool.
So it's by an artist named Bao Anderson. The song's called Heavy, and it's the Icarus remix. Do you want to intro the song a little bit, or how'd you find it?
I feel like I just got it in a promo or something. But yeah, I just really enjoyed playing this one on my stream lately. I feel like there's certain chord progressions that I gravitate towards, and this just has that kind of vibe. So, and I like Icarus. I feel like they've I don't know how to like sort of indie electronica. I never really know how to describe these types of groups, but it's just like a vibe, and I'm always like envious of the production, so I love it.
We'll think of I have a good game for us to play after we play the song, but let's listen to this first. Cool. It is Bao Anderson Heavy Icarus remix. Ooh, nice chords indeed.
I love that. I love that snare rhythm. I think it's just like, so often you hear it on the 2 and 4, and I just like the snare rhythm a lot.
Yeah. It has that very like lo-fi burial snare as well.
Totally.
Like the rim shot.
Yeah, exactly. That's the theme, yeah. love that the original is like quite a standard pop song, and like this remix is just like I don't even think it has like the chorus or verses or anything. So cool.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's definitely like I guess I'm not really familiar with either artists myself. I mean, I am now, which is the great part of this show.
Yeah.
It kind of has that. I guess it's existed, so I don't want to say anything is derivative, but it does give me this feel of like the Jamie XX stuff.
Totally.
And
I agree 100%.
Yeah, and what I really like is kind of the emergence of not so hi-fi electronic music, because everything was getting so sparkly, and there's a place for that too, but I think for casual listening, sometimes it's really fatiguing on the ears to have songs that have a lot of high end. So it's nice to have this kind of like meditative, kind of repetitive, more warmly mixed music. This sounds great. I like it.
Yeah, I love it. It's just like a perfect evening chill track. It's so nice.
I like it. I could listen to evening.
Sorry, I love it too. Just because like when I listened to this maybe for like 6 months, and I was like, oh, I should check out what the original song is like. It's just like just feels like a totally different song, and I love that. That's like one of my favorite things in music.
Yeah, that's the best thing about a remix, right? Like you have the opportunity to do something completely original, or you have the opportunity to just flip it. And you know, sometimes the best remix is just putting like a house beat on a trap song or whatever, you know. And sometimes you have people that really reinvent a song to be completely different. Like James Blake had done that remix of, was it Feist or Cat Power or something? I forgot the very first one.
I won't know off the top of my head. Yeah.
If anyone knows in the comments, it's when he started. I can't remember it.
There's my friend in the chat. He knows like every song ever. So.
Okay, so if anyone in the chat remembers the song that James Blake did, that was a cover of I think Feist or Cat Power. I can't remember now, but then it was like when he just started singing. Basically, he wasn't singing before. He was just a producer, and he was releasing music on R&S Records, and then he started singing. And everyone's like, "Oh, damn, dude sings now," and we had no idea.
Have you? Do you ever listen to Rick Rubin's podcast?
No, I don't. But I imagine he has a lot of insight. But.
Yeah, he's a very like I love it because he's very just calming. Like I listen to it when I feel stressed in life, and he's just like I don't know. He's just very zen about everything, and I like that approach. I'm trying to be more like that as I get older. But he had James Blake on recently, and they kind of like dissected his approach a lot to just sort of using his voice as an instrument, but like in a way that's not like he's like, yeah, it's sing, but I've always tried to sing notes and then work with those notes as a synth almost. And I don't know, it was a really interesting conversation. I would highly recommend it to people in the chat and you if you have a chance.
Yeah, there's definitely a few people that do that. And I've actually had that conversation with other artists on this program, this idea of using vocals more like an instrument than a focus.
Yeah.
And I knew, like, I was like, you know, I wouldn't want to say past tense, but I am a big fan of the Smashing Pumpkins, and Billy Corgan would say that. He would say, you know, he wants to treat his vocals kind of like an instrument. And he had attributed that to My Bloody Valentine, where the vocals in there are very much mixed in as well. And another person who kind of does that is also Grimes. So Grimes sometimes you don't even like what I don't know what she's saying, you know. It's one of those things, and it is the power of the voice in just tonality. Sometimes we don't even know what anyone's saying. Like you can listen to a rap song and they can be saying something completely like not like something that's not on brand for you, but you just like the beat and the cadence, you know.
Yeah. No. And I think because there's you know, you're never really going to sing something the same way twice. So these like constant imperfections are like I think that like brings out the human nature in music a little bit. That I think like people gravitate towards sort of like things that aren't perfect. I think.
Yeah, 100%. Do you sing on any of your music?
No. But I definitely am working like pretty much. I would say the majority of the drops or not drop. I guess like the drop sections of my songs are mostly chopped up vocals at this point, just random things, either like. I don't know, some sample pack I have or the vocal that's within that track, I'll just like dissect over and over again. So I definitely like that approach. But yeah, I don't know. I used to sing in like a punk band, and I didn't like it. So I just kind of like, I don't really like want to go back to that.
I hate singing in this band. I want to make electronic music and not sing. Let's do something completely opposite. Oh, someone just made a good Simpsons reference in the chat. Do you remember the was it the Lollapalooza?
Oh yeah.
Episode? Was that someone says Billy Corgan Smashing Pumpkins, Homer Simpson smiling politely. That was a pretty good one.
That's such a great line.
Mm-hmm.
I love that episode.
It is pretty good. They have like the kind of like apathetic youth, and everyone's just like non-emotive and just being like
and just Homer trying so hard to like take the kids to a concert, and they all just think he's lame, which is just a great like narrative for a story. I love it so much.
Yeah, classic. All the classic ones. I still have like DVD sets that I can't watch because I don't have a DVD player, nor does my laptop. So I just have it for no reason at this point.
You got to get Disney Plus. They got them all.
I do have Disney Plus, so that's the thing too. So I'm like, do I hold on to this like Homer-shaped DVD set, or do I toss it because is it valuable, or do I Marie Kondo it because like does it really bring me joy? So I'm having an issue. I'm like, do I throw away my anime like DVDs because I can't watch them on anything, or do I hold them for sentimental value?
Yeah, I feel like that's the most controversial part about Marie Kondo's stuff is like the book section, where she's just like, just get rid of books, and people, I think that's like a hardest thing for people to throw away, and I would put those things sort of in that category as well. Like even if it's a Simpsons DVD, I don't know, because it's like you might never watch it again, but sometimes like your bookshelf is sort of like, this is who I am in a weird way, even if you never read those books again.
Yeah.
So
you're like, I have all these coffee table books that describe my personality, but I haven't actually gone through any of them. I have a few of those.
I like the cover, or I like the way it looks when it sits on my coffee table.
Yeah, you know, those like Tashgen ones or Toscan ones that just like you want to leave them open on some like lucite like book holder that has them open. My friend got me this cocktail book, and it looks so nice on my like cocktail bar, but I haven't made a single drink from from the book ever. Which reminds me, speaking of drinks, which also can segue into food, this is basically the portion of our show where we support our local businesses by ordering takeout, pickup, or just kind of sharing how we've been eating during the quarantine some artists have chosen to cook for themselves. So yeah, I think you got your food, right?
I do. Yeah.
Sick.
I'm very excited for it, actually.
Okay.
I got special food for the show.
What is it? This is the show and tell part. We really like this.
So there's two sushi restaurants in Vancouver, one called Miku and one called Minami. One's in Yaletown, one's I guess Cole Harbor-ish area, and they're sister restaurants. So so the menus are quite similar but not identical, and their specialty is like abiri oshi sushi, which is like pressed sushi, but it's flame broiled as well.
Ooh.
So I got the sampler, and I'm very excited.
Can we see? I would like.
Hold on, I'll take the plastic wrap off. Here, wait. I think I can just do this. There we go. That's pretty good.
Ooh.
Come on. This is where I just fly. It flies everywhere.
Ooh. I was like, all the lights in my place is turned off. Ooh. Okay. So what are we looking at right here?
I'm trying to. This one is sockeye salmon, which is kind of like the go-to fish in Vancouver. Because most places you might get farmed salmon or something. So we have wild salmon here, and it's really bomb. And then this one's what is it? Abba mackerel, I believe. And then this one's just ebi, so prawn.
Ooh.
And yeah, I'm very excited. What are you eating?
Well, I've been trying to do a nice and healthy January, which doesn't count the like, I don't know, like 5 cupcakes and like 3 slices of cake I ate yesterday on my birthday. But aside from that, I haven't been drinking, no, nothing bad. Basically, I've just been drinking water. And so I ordered from a place called Zinc Cafe. I think Zinc Cafe. It's in downtown LA, close to the Arts District. I haven't eaten there in a while, but the food is really good. It's not necessarily like vegan, but the food has like a nice healthy twist on everything. So I got a bowl, which is not the most exciting thing to look at the moment because I think it's kind of wilted a little bit, but it's arugula. There's some nice shaved pieces of Parmesan. There's roasted chicken underneath. And then I believe there's brown rice under that. I haven't actually cracked this baby open. And then amongst the other green things, I got this like curry soup, which usually I put stuff like this in a bowl, but I just got lazy today. So I'm just going to eat it out of the cup.
That soup looks bomb.
You know what? I like a good pureed soup. I think it's broccoli, green curry, and ta-da, surprise. I'm not really sure what the third one was anymore.
Other healthy ingredients.
Yeah. And then, I mean, that doesn't count the fact that I also got a salad that sounds like on top of all this. So I think maybe it's not the the healthy food component. I think I just need to par down on the amount of food that I order. What can I say?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to order the right amount from delivery, I find.
Yeah, it's like, well, what if I want to eat more of it or less of it? But it tends to be always more. But it's okay.
I like how it's on brand with your background. You're kind of like, now you're in a jungle sort of in front of you and behind you.
I know. If this is a green screen show, this would be hilarious right now. I'd just be floating.
You'd be eating... Remember, did you ever see that skateboard video, the girl skateboard video? Yeah, right.
I don't think so.
And it's like, who's the director? Spike Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably Spike Jones. Yeah.
I always just want to say Spike Lee, but I'm like, no, it's obviously Spike Jones. But they do like this thing where they green screen. They've made all the skateboards green, so then the whole shots are them just like floating, skating on nothing, and it's just this weird sequence that's in the video. And I always remember.
Oh,
it's really cool.
That's pretty cool. It's a good inspo idea. Put it on the Pinterest for a next music video. Just kidding. I don't even
green screen CDJs and just have everyone DJing with nothing. It'd be great.
This is not too hard.
No, it was easy.
Yeah. Let's see. I wanted to play some more music. Okay, so this track is "Find an Island" by Benny, if I'm saying that correctly.
I think it's Benet, but I'm honestly not sure. I've never actually heard anyone say it out loud. So you could definitely be right, and I could be wrong, or we could both be wrong. That's also possible.
Benet. Yeah, it's this thing where lots of people listen to music, but no one has ever had to say artist name out loud in context. So I found on this show that I've butchered many artist names, but it's okay because many people say my name wrong. So it's I feel like it balances that in the karma world of artist name pronunciation.
Is it TOKiMONSTA? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. But some people say TOKiMONSTA. That's a really British way of saying it. Is TOKiMONSTA? I'm like,
yeah.
Do I talk too much? Is there something going on?
Talking monster.
Oh, that's me on this show. It's talking monsters. Shut up. But let's listen to this track. Let's see. I actually have some notes about it. So we'll read it afterwards. There's a little blurb about the song, but let's listen to it first. And we can start eating.
Oh yeah, so hungry.
I know, me too. I'm dying. My only sustenance yesterday was mostly cake and sushi.
You're eating healthy. It's your birthday. You're allowed. What kind of cake did you have?
Oh my god, the best cake. I mean, I ate half of it, so I can't. But then, if you look at my Instagram, what? I'll pull it up on my phone. It's important. Okay, let's see if this works if I post it. I got these jelly cakes. I don't know. Wait, hold on. Let's see if it'll adjust.
Oh yeah.
Whoops.
Damn, it's so pretty too.
It's so sick. Let me see if I can get at another angle. I'm obsessed with it. I was sad that I ate it, and then after I ate it, I was glad that I started eating it too.
Oh damn. That's so
So
cool. Is that like
yeah.
a wavy candle?
Yes, that's the other thing. The candle is so sick. The top of the cake is actually made out of jelly, and it's like set jelly. The cake artist, I don't know, cakier. I don't know what we should call her, but her name, she goes by Nunchi, and I think her real name is Lexi Park. But she actually just blew up on the internet making these jelly cakes, and
great.
so it's jelly on top and it's cheesecake on the bottom. But it's so sick, and she made little like.
Did you just
What was
order
that?
it online kind of thing?
It was a gift, so
Nice.
yeah, basically I like incepted an idea in my boyfriend's head, and I was like, these cakes are pretty cool, and it stuck. So he surprised me with this cake, and I was like, hell yeah. Though in my mind I was like, I think he's gonna get the cake. I think I made it pretty apparent I wanted one, but yeah, it turned out she was like she knew who I was, or she's a fan, so. She kind of personalized it a little bit. So if you look inside, there's little like rabbit like jelly shapes in it, which is pretty cute.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we basically ate half that cake yesterday. And I mean, it's a small cake, but it's still cheesecake. So I was like, I'm going to eat a salad on the show today. And that's how I'm here.
It's your birthday. You got to eat whatever you want on your birthday. That's a rule.
Yeah, and you can cry if you want to, but fortunately I didn't.
Well, that's good.
Oh. I mean... Have you ever cried on your birthday?
I don't think so. I don't cry very often, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, I should ask if you're much of a crier first.
I have one crying trigger though.
Oh, what is it?
Pixar films on flights.
Okay. I feel you.
And I don't know, like, do you have this, like, do you feel this thing where when you're flying, you're like more emotional with like things that you watch, or
100%. I was gonna say that.
I don't get like emotional like with people or anything on planes. Like I won't overreact or anything. But if I'm watching something, like I've watched movies before that have never made me cry, and then if I watch it on a plane, it'll like make me bawl my eyes out sometimes. This is insane.
I have cried so much on I cried more watching films on airplanes than on land by far, and it's always Disney movies. I tried to watch Dumbo. Okay, I tried to watch both Dumbo. So I watched the original Dumbo, and
Oh no, it's breaking. No.
Straight in, dude. You got to do it.
I know. Dumbo, yeah.
So I was watching regular Dumbo, and I was like, oh, I remember this being like, a cute story about a little elephant, and he triumphs. That's the main understanding. And then I watch it, and it's this poor little baby elephant that's made fun of constantly. That's like taken away from his mother, who's like locked up in this box, and I start bawling on the airplane. And I think the person next to me must have been like, the fuck is wrong with her? Like, I was just like, oh my God, this is so sad. This is terrible. How could they do this to this elephant? I actually turned it off. I didn't even finish watching it.
Wow. I mean, those early Disney movies can be like brutal.
They're like trauma. It's always a parent dying, like Bambi, someone gets shot, or like The Lion King.
Totally.
They're pretty cruel.
They can get twisted too. Like I rewatched Pinocchio recently because I've had Disney Plus, so I'm just gonna and these movies are so like Pinocchio is like I think it's like 1938 or like some insane year. Like it's so old, and I'm like, this movie is dark. There's darkness, a lot of darkness in this movie that I don't remember as a child because I probably hadn't watched it since I was like 6 either. So
yeah, I don't remember either. I just remember Jiminy Cricket, and like they use that Jiminy Cricket song in all the Disney stuff.
Yeah. But I actually forgot that even Jiminy Cricket was from that film. I was just like, oh, he's just like one of the Disney mascots. I don't know, but I never actually remembered what he was from.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's always like him and Tinkerbell, and you're like, wait, where did they come from? And you're like, oh, wait, yeah, one is from the Peter Pan, though, is from the other one. So what's so dark about Pinocchio?
Well, like, I think
Spoiler alert.
Like, he gets captured and taken to this island where they like change boys into like donkeys and stuff. This guy has like captured all these to like perform in his like circus island. This guy, like, it's so twisted and weird. It's very strange.
Any context where you're stealing young boys, it's like everyone's like, oh no, we can't.
And I believe the island that they all live on is called Pleasure Island or something really weird. It's very strange. Like I was like, man, this is definitely like an old ass movie. There is a lot of weird red flags here.
That's so funny. Someone said, as a kid, the kids turning into donkeys terrified me. LOL. Yeah, I would say that's legit.
See, I feel like when I
Scary.
tell people about that, like no one remembers that. They're like, "Really?" And I was like, "See, this is how you know it was traumatic because everyone has blocked that
Blocked it.
out."
I don't recall that at all. I just remember like Geppetto, and then there's him, and he lies, and his nose gets big, and then he's the real boy. And that's
Yeah, but there's that whole whale scene. Like
oh, vaguely.
yeah, because I was thinking, I remember the ride at Disneyland where you like go through the whale's mouth, and then I was
Yeah,
like, "Wait, what's that?" And then I was like, "Oh yeah, there's this whole whale thing." They all like, it's a crazy ass movie. I recommend.
sounds trippy,
Anyone.
huh? Trippy and dark.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is great because we were talking about Little Mermaid on a previous, I think maybe it was with Flying Lotus, but I was saying how the original Little Mermaid, she basically dies at the end. Also, spoiler alert. Sorry if you guys didn't know that. The original version of Little Mermaid, she gives up her life in the sea for these legs, and she's in constant pain with these human legs. And when she goes to find the prince, he's married the other chick, and then she jumps off a boat and killed herself. And that's the original version of Little Mermaid.
Like that's the actual. If I watch the cartoon version right now, that's what happens.
No, no, no. The Disney version is not that. She like,
Oh, okay.
the witch is like the other lady, and then she wins, and then she gets the dude.
Right.
Um,
That was like the original concept.
that's because it's like a Hans Christian Andersen, or like one of those
Right.
like fairy tales, and it's
Right.
dark, really dark.
Yeah.
And I watched like another animated version of Little Mermaid as a kid, but it was in Korean. But I think it was a dub over. Maybe it was actually like a European cartoon version. But in that version, she dies at the end. So imagine being a little kid and you see her just like jump into the ocean, and she's just basically drowning in the end credits.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Like
cruel, huh?
they play like Under the Sea as she's drowning. Again, they do the encore with the same song.
I know. They gotta have like David Lynch redo Little Mermaid and see how that turns out.
Oh man, I think about that all the time. Like you know how they kind of like redid, like how Christopher Nolan sort of redid Batman and made them all dark. I'm always like,
Hmm.
man, I would love if they just did that for like so many other movies. Like,
Yeah, they should do that with Spider-Man, because that was one of the things about Spider-Man I never enjoyed. I was like, he's just like this nerdy kid who's just like gets spider powers. Like, where's his backstory? Why isn't it more interesting? And
yeah, no, I agree. I like want like the director who did like The Revenant to do Bambi or something and just like fuck it up.
oh man, then it'll just end up like, did you ever watch? What was that really scary, a disturbing film? Crap, it's the guy who did like Nymphomaniac. He also did Antichrist, and
Yeah,
Lars von Trier. Have
yeah,
you
yeah,
heard of
yeah,
him?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so he did a film called Antichrist that had William Dafoe and Charlotte Gainsbourg, and there's some scary like forest animal action in that film. That's probably top 10 disturbing films, next to
Yeah,
like,
he's.
uh-huh.
I feel like he's got a few on that list of top disturbing films.
Yeah, I think also Midsommar's up there now too. One of those wonderful things. Let's actually listen to another song. So this one is yours, so I want to make sure we're paying attention.
I know we
It
didn't
is.
the last one.
What was that?
I thought you said you had notes about the Benet one or something.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
wasn't sure if I was like, okay, if you're still interested. Okay, so
I'm
basically,
curious. Yeah.
this is a little blurb I have. So the song was released in October of 2019, and I think this is a quote from Benet. Maybe Benet sounds probably more realistic. So she's saying, the song is about my tiny little argument I had with my guitar player Tia. We had some weird little bicker, and when you're having a petty argument with your friend, you don't want to swear at them or put them down or anything. But I was like, what would I say? I'd be like, find an island, go somewhere else. When you're in an argument and you don't want to be there, you just kind of want to get want them to get lost. But you wouldn't say that because they're your best friend.
That's pretty.
So next time, yeah. So if you ever get in an argument with your friend, you can send them the song and just essentially be like, find an island, because that's the name of the song. How
Well,
about
that's
you just
interesting.
find an island and get away from me?
I definitely thought that was about a relationship, so I actually love it more now that it's about just a friend like scuffle. I think that makes it even better for me.
Yeah, there's definitely times where you'd want to put lots of people on an island. Sometimes it enters your mind. You're like, I'm not enjoying this bank teller right now. I think they can go find an island. It's kind of applicable in many situations, I think.
Yeah, and then they all compete for money, right? And vote each other off.
Or like, what's that, like the battle royale or something? Just like a fight to the death,
Yeah.
all of you.
Is that's the original movie that The Hunger Games was based on, right?
I don't know. Is that what it's based on? I know they're very similar. It's like a like survival of the fittest, basically. But
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Hunger Games is just a massive ripoff of like Battle Royale. I feel like I had to watch Battle Royale when I was doing some film courses in university. It was I feel like film is basically like, so these are all those movies you love. Here's all the movies that they ripped off, like that. I feel like my course kind of.
yeah, that's Star Wars was a bite of like what is it like Seven Samurais or like some old Japanese film too. I can't remember. I can't remember. Someone in the comments in the chat might know better, but I know that Star Wars is supposed to be a ripoff of a samurai film.
Crazy.
But who can prove it? I don't know. Yeah, so that is definitely a thing. But I know that the Hunger Games started off as a book, so it's a book thing.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll say I had read them. They were like really easy reads. So if you're like on an airplane, you're like reading about Hunger Games. I don't know if I should be proud of that or not. I think it's okay. I'm sure someone has lots of people have read it. That's why it's so popular.
I think if you enjoy it, you should just. It's fine. Who cares?
Yeah, like Harry Potter's the shit. I still think that was a pretty cool book.
I think it's just like, I don't really like believe in the concept of like guilty pleasures or anything. I'm like, why would I like feel bad about like liking a song or something? I don't know.
Weren't you like really? What song was it that you're super into? Was it like a Britney Spears song? There was like a thing for a while.
Yeah, like every time Toxic comes on, people tag me in the meme now at this point. But like Toxic to me though, like
It's a genius song.
Toxic is like on another like it's Toxic to me. It's not like it's Oops I Did It Again, or sorry, it's not, or Baby One More Time. Like Toxic to me is like a genius pop song because I have like if that came out tomorrow, it would still sound futuristic to me. Like it's very like it's an anomaly kind of. It just kind of has its own thing.
Yeah,
It's like a drum and bass tempo. It's so weird.
It's a pretty, yeah, it's like two-step drum. Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna go and listen to it. It's a really good music video as well.
Do you know who produced that? It's like the guy, one of the guys from Galantis who was in Mike Snow. Like they did that song.
Oh, you know what? I feel like I might have known that. That makes sense.
What's their production? Bloodshine Avant. That was like their production duo name.
Yeah. Scandinavian guys, right? Like Swedish. Man, the Swedish people in their pop, man, they really nailed it.
I have a theory about why Swedes are good at pop.
Okay.
It's because it's dark there most of the year, so they just have to write happy pop music.
That's true. I guess if they get any darker, then like the whole civilization might crumble. But they're also into like death metal and
they have like 3 hours of daylight for like 8 months of the year. So it's like, fuck it, let's just write Britney Spears tracks.
Was it Max Martin? Wait, is that his name? The other?
Yeah, he's like the guy.
He's like the guy.
There was an interview with him, or like a New York Times piece or something, and they're like, we're visiting Max Martin at his compound, and I was like, man, if you refer to your house as a compound, like you've killed it in life.
So I'm pretty good. He's done all those. he did all the like really great Backstreet Boys and like NSYNC songs, and probably some Britney Spears ones as well. He was like the pinnacle of like 2000s era pop music.
And
Remember
still making really exciting. Like I think he did Blinding Lights. He did like God is a Woman, Ariana Grande. He's still like making, I would feel like still game-changing stuff, which it kind of like constantly surprises me. That's why I love him.
Is he kind of like one of those like has a bit of a factory kind of producers? I know that with Hans Zimmer, for example, he has quite a lot of people on his team that are making music.
Probably at this point, seems like it would be hard for it not to be that.
Yeah, right. Like a collected effort, but he was like, let's put a snare on that and like let me get the credit, a little bit of that. Wait, like Rick Rubin, his whole thing is that he doesn't touch anything, right? He produces without putting his hands on the border.
I think sometimes like producer and engineer get kind of like labeled as the same thing, and I think they can be quite different.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, especially so in the more pop realm where there's a very specific difference between like there's the producer, there's the songwriter, there's the engineer, there's the vocal producer. That's a thing too. It's really complicated.
There's that one guy who just walked in the room to deliver coffee that day, and like somehow he got 3% of the song.
Mm-hmm. I want to be that person walking into a room, like, I don't know, walk into like the weekend session and be like, here's your cappuccinos. Go over and give them my ASCAP and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
This is
you like
this is
hand
what
them
I go by.
hand them the receipt for the coffee, but like it also has your publishing info. It'd be great.
Yeah, just like don't forget, you have to write my name like this. Otherwise, it'll be hard for me to collect.
You could like sneak yourself into sicko mode. No one would notice. There's already like 47 people on that song. Like, what's one more?
There are so many writers on some of these rap songs. I'm like, wow, there's like 15 people on here. But then you end up in a session and you're like, oh, okay, I get why there's so many people.
I think it has to be though, because I think a lot of those writing credits are samples being cleared.
Oh, that's true.
So. And then I think Sicko Mode is kind of like this weird Frankenstein song of like 3 songs sort of put together. Like if you think so, I think there's like different samples for each of those 3 sections. So then, because I was so baffled by that, I was like, what is happening here? So I was kind of like did a little bit of it. I think there's even like a part where Travis Scott like it's like that give me the loot, like just that one shout out part.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a sample that they had to clear because it's like the original thing. I just thought that was him shouting that. So. Yeah, it's crazy.
Apparently not. But you know what? I'm sure he's made his money back and more because that song was huge.
Oh, yeah.
The song of the era. That really blew him up. That and probably being Kardashian baby daddy. Those 2 things equal
And
success.
Goosebumps was massive.
Oh, that was really good. He was he was definitely, I mean, now he's just on another level. He's like pop. Level,
for sure.
Big dude.
I love that. I think Astroworld is such a great album.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Did you see when they actually, was it like an album listening where they actually like they kind of animated his album cover with the inflatable balloon that was his mouth?
No.
It was really frightening looking though.
Yeah,
There's
it's
images.
Like that I like a abandoned theme park vibe is always like one of the most terrifying visuals for me.
How are you with clowns?
I'm okay with clowns. But I think they're weird.
Clowns are weird. Okay, what about like a Barnum and Bailey, whatever style clown versus a Cirque du Soleil style clown? Which would you prefer? If you had to be on a flight next to one of them for like 16 hours to Singapore or something.
Probably Cirque du Soleil because they could kind of contract and like not take up too much of my space.
That's a good point. They just become vertical.
The other guy's got his like big ass shoes. Just like get out of my way.
I know, and the hair. You just be like, man, you just squeak too much, dude.
It's if someone was like a friend of yours was like, hey, I'm thinking about becoming a clown. What would your reaction be?
That also reminds me of The Simpsons. You remember when he becomes a clown? He goes to clown school. Homer goes to clown school. He starts like making the clown out of his mashed potato, or not the clown. He starts making like a circus tent out of his mashed potatoes.
Yeah, that's him. That's from the scene in Close Encounters of the Third Kind where he's like doing the mashed potatoes. So they ripped off that scene and he's making the clown tent instead. And then he just stops and he's like, "That's it. I'm going to clown school." And everyone's like, "I don't think anyone expected him to say that."
That being said, if you had a friend that decided to become a clown, I don't know. I guess you'd have to support them in their endeavors. I mean, the mainstream like pop level clown like area like sphere is very empty. There's no famous clowns anymore except Ronald McDonald.
Maybe it's a great career choice at this point because it's so empty.
Yeah, I mean, a good way to pivot. Just be like, well, if I can't DJ anymore, I might as well become an internet clown.
There's a few DJs I know that might already be clowns. Just kidding.
This is possible. Maybe ourselves included. We're all kind of clowns, huh?
Yeah, you're an entertainer. Is we're clowning around mostly. It's kind of like the point of it.
Yeah. Though I think there's a discrepancy between clowning around and actual clown. I'll make sure not to dye my hair red and get a little nose.
You could dye your hair red.
Okay, so maybe things to consider. Let's listen to some more music. So we have your song called Mine, but you did a sunset mix of your own song. This was released in March of 2020. So I want to ask in advance, how was it like releasing music during quarantine for you?
Wait, when did this come out? March?
It says March of 2020. You can let me know if that's wrong.
No, I think that's right. I was just curious. I never remember my release dates.
Me either.
Yeah. I don't know. It's fine. Like, what am I gonna do? Not put out music because I actually feel like music should keep going because, yeah, you can still listen to music just because it's one of like the things maybe that is helping people. I know it helps me to make the songs. So, what am I gonna do? Just stop making music because the world's shut down? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's obviously sad not to perform it. It sucks not to get to perform it for a crowd, but like when the world comes back around, like those songs, I can still play them
then people will be prepared because they would have already listened to it a million times. And
there's no excuse to not know the words at this point.
100%. So let's listen to some of this and we can dive into some of our food again and then we'll chat.
Cool. Oh, my cat has got sunsets.
We're too broke to have a car.
A lot of sunset emojis in the chat right now.
Yeah, we made it for my Twitch stream whenever I play a sunsets mix that I do.
We were rich in love. We were young and in love. And nothing seemed to matter but the time we spent together. We grew up and lost time. I'll always keep your photograph warm inside my heart. We were young and in love. And nothing seemed to matter but the time we spent together. We grew up and lost time. I'll always keep your photograph. But let's show still mine. Let's show still. 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 But pretend.
I'm on to the Gomai.
I love that stuff. It's like an excuse to say that you ate a vegetable with your sushi. All right.
I better get something green.
It's either that or edamame, and you're like, this will brown it out.
I'm so played out on edamame, though. I just feel like it's been so... Everyone always wants edamame. It's still good, but it's like, I'm just done with it.
Garlic edamame. That's like the standard thing. Everyone wants garlic edamame. You're like...
There are some like vinegar sort of seasoned edamames, and those are bomb.
Yeah, sometimes it's like... if you're having like a beer and you have some edamame, it's kind of nice.
It's true. It's a good little snack, for sure.
Or like a filler. But I love gomae. There's like gomae and there's another spinach one. Oh, ohitashi? There's like two spinach ones. Gomai is the one that's good because it has like the sesame on it, and ohitashi is like
it's like a peanut-ish sort of sauce usually.
Yeah. And then the ohitashi is like it'll have bonito flake and maybe like a fishy kind of broth, like little broth kind of thing in it. Can't remember, but those two are my like. Okay, there has to be like a lot of spinach in this, so it's gonna balance out. Again, the copious amounts of fish and rice that you're eating.
Right. I'm always on like the fence if sushi is good for you at all.
I know.
Like, it
oh
feels
my
better
god.
than like having chicken tenders, I guess.
You know what? And it's clean. It's like, clean food. It's just like the quantity. I can eat so much sushi, like nigiri. It's like stupid. Yeah. You're just like, have you ever gone to the rotating sushi places where they have kaiten sushis
on the conveyor
and
belts.
then you have the plates, and then you like lay the plates on top of each other, and afterwards you're like, am I proud of myself or not?
yes you have to be proud of yourself.
I mean, sometimes it's competitive. It's like I feel like a lot of my guy friends are really competitive when they're eating like conveyor belt sushi. They're like, whose plate's higher? It's like trying to stack it up all the way. And I'm like, damn, dude, you guys ate like 5 bowls of rice and don't even know it.
I was watching this documentary about like a competitive eater, and I believe he was Japanese. He was like one of the guys who won the hot dog eating contest. And he said the hardest part about training was you can't really get hot dogs in Japan very easily. So he was like, I would just eat a lot of sushi and stuff to like prepare for it, just to eat. You just basically train by eating a lot. It's insane. Anyways, but he would like go to these conveyor belt things, and they all like knew him when he would come in, because by the time he was done, you like wouldn't be able to see him anymore because his plates were so high.
Oh my god. Oh, what's his name? He's actually pretty famous. Like, it's a name that I would typically remember. The hot dog guy.
I can't remember his name. Someone in the chat definitely can look it up.
Yeah, someone could Google it for us. Can't remember his name. Which actually reminds me of, what was it? Like many, many years ago, I took you and some friends to go drinking and eating in LA after hours in Koreatown.
Yeah.
Very exclusive experience. I remember it ended up being a really hectic night because maybe like a couple of our friends got into a fight with each other or like were arguing.
I remember like
that. It was pretty dramatic.
I just remember like if you weren't with me, there was no way I was getting into this place.
Oh yeah, no way. I have to like always I have to really convince the people. I'm like, I know they're white, but then I promise they're not gonna snitch on you. They're not police officers. They're not whatever. And they'd always be like,
I just want to keep drinking. That's all. Like, we're good.
Yeah, I mean, clearly we're not cops because we're already wasted when we get there. We're like, oh, it's okay, please. Yeah, and then, I mean, that doesn't really happen anymore. But up until that point, we were still able to do that. And people would be smoking cigarettes inside. And they would be serving us soju in, like, styrofoam cups.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool.
And I just remember, like, just... You couldn't see in, like, no windows or anything. All the windows are blocked out. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I remember that particular one. It was on Western. It doesn't... I talk about it because it doesn't exist anymore. It probably got shut down or it closed. But
because you talked about it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, I don't snitch. So I've been saving the story for a long time. This is not public knowledge. But now that it ceases to exist and it's the pandemic, I can talk about it. Though...
That stuff is so fun. That's like the randomness of those things is like the stuff that I miss the most right now.
I know there's no like, oh, let's go drink at 4 a.m. at some weird hole in the wall with their like windows blacked out. It's more like, let's go to bed at 9.
Yeah.
It's like,
or like there's no like, oh, let's have like a Sunday drink at 5 p.m. and then suddenly you're like, oh shit, I'm out and it's still 3:30. Like I just miss the like debauchery sometimes.
Someone remember the Japanese guy? It's Kobayashi. And they wrote it in Japanese, which I can read, which is cool because it means I still remember how to read it.
That's Eric, the manager. you know Eric, I think.
Oh, one Peruvian guy is Eric?
Oh, sorry. I thought Honk and Wave wrote it.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they both wrote it. Anyways, yeah.
I was like, is Eric Peruvian? I was like, that's new news to me. But yeah, those days were pretty fun, and I miss them, and soon they'll happen again. What's it like in Canada and Vancouver right now? I feel like Canadians have been pretty good on the whole COVID thing.
Like restaurants are still open and stuff, but it's pretty like they're pretty empty, But yeah, it's not like total lockdown or anything, so it's definitely it's easier to stay a little more sane here, I think. But cases are rising, so our like public health is like, can you guys try and be like more smart? I think it's mostly still from like people that having parties though without knowing. It's not like the restaurants and stuff.
Yeah. What a weird thing. There's one point I remember reading an article about people trying to sneak into Canada, and like the Canadian borders were just sick of their shit. Like, you guys stay in your country, and we're like, whoa, the tables have turned.
Yeah, we want to build a wall now.
I know. It's just like, what's going on? People just trying to escape, like taking boats into Canada, and they're like, no, you go back. You stay over there. I don't know if Canadians could build a wall. It'd just be like made out of, I don't know, like French fries and bagels or something. It's like, what would it be made?
It's the front wall of our giant igloo that the whole country is underneath.
Oh yeah, this is true.
It's crazy though to me. Like sometimes, like even when I would go to Washington State, like I used to go camping in the sort of like interior of Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be, you would drive down through Seattle and then kind of like just cut to the middle of the state, and we would meet people there, and they would be like, "Oh, you're from Vancouver? Like, it's like really snowy there?" And I'm like, "It's not very far, like away.
It's not far at all. Isn't it like 40 minutes or like?" I don't even know.
Seattle to Vancouver is like a 2-hour drive. But I've like met people, and I'm like, "What do you think happens at the border? Like, it just suddenly starts snowing at that like line where like Canada starts. Like, it's so weird to me. I don't know. It's just like always cracked me up when I was younger. I was like, it's like basically the same as Seattle. Like, it just rains all the time. We occasionally get snow. It's like it didn't snow this year at all in Vancouver.
Oh, that's weird, right? It should be snowing at least a little bit.
No, it doesn't always snow here. I think like,
okay.
It's like people like think it's like Montreal or something where it like gets so brutal. But then like if you think about the states that are next to Montreal, it's like Michigan and shit, and that shit gets cold as fuck too.
Yeah, I think people are just mixed up. I was reading something recently about how Alaska's on the same longitude or latitude, whichever one that goes obviously from left to right, as Ireland.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
And obviously, I think elevation has plays a big part and stuff in terms of weather, because I mean it's pretty brutal in Alaska. But you lose context sometimes. You're just like, oh,
totally,
it's the same. Yeah. I think Vancouver is beautiful. It's a nice place to be. If you know anyone that wants to, get married, maybe share some citizenship, you have my number. Just kidding. But yeah, I think you've been there you're born and raised. You're from Vancouver, right? Or
yeah, I just grew up like outside of Vancouver, just like a suburb outside, but super close.
Have you ever thought about moving?
I did like a semester abroad in Glasgow. I lived in LA for like 5 months. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of doing installations in different places. Like, I like doing that like period in LA, but I kind of like the idea of it being temporary, I guess, as well. I sort of like used to think I had to go to LA to like do what I want to do, like make music and stuff. But then I kind of realized, like, as a producer, I sort of like need time alone and like to finish stuff. So I was like, I don't really need to be there for that portion. So it's kind of more effective for me to just like go and write in LA for a bit, maybe like 3 weeks or something, and then kind of like come back with ideas. And then I can just sort of like huddle in my cave down here and work through all that shit I wrote.
Do you think that you prefer working alone? Because I know every producer is different. Some people are very like, I want to collabo. Some people are just like, I don't know how to work with other people on production.
For production, I prefer to work alone. I think because that's what I'm like the most interested in getting better at. So obviously it's nice to work with other people because you learn things, and I'm open to that. But yeah, I don't know. I just kind of I had a feeling one time where I was like, shit, I tell everyone I'm a producer and I don't know if I'm that good. So like I feel like an imposter or something. And then I kind of like after I felt that way, then I was like, I'm gonna buckle down and like really focus on just trying to get better as a producer. Um, I don't know. But like I love writing with people. Like I love writing songs with people, like writing lyrics and like writing the vocal melodies. And I'm definitely open to them like suggesting like, oh, what if we do this chord there or whatever. But I like kind of like taking it from the like bare bone structure to like a finished product. At least it's if it's gonna be like a Felix Cartal record.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you work with a great deal of vocalists. I'm wondering if the pandemic had any effect on how you collaborate with songwriters, you know?
Yeah, I've done like a few of those Zoom sessions and stuff, and they were kind of weird at first, but obviously, but writing is always weird in general, so I don't know. It's like, is it more
It
weird?
can be
I
weird,
don't know.
yeah. I mean, if you don't
Um,
know the artist, it's weird. It's basically a blind
Yeah.
date. It's a creative blind date. It can be even worse than an actual blind date.
Well, the thing that's funny to me about songwriting is you just meet a total stranger and then like because you're usually writing about like relationships or whatever experiences that you've had, and then so you just like get to it so quick. You're like, so they're like, well, recently like this happened to me. Like my boyfriend of like 7 years did this, and I'm just like, I feel like no one would share that information that quickly, but in like songwriting, it almost always comes up like within 12 minutes, and I'm like, I just find that really entertaining.
That's actually that's a really good observation because, yeah, if you went on like a Tinder date and someone unloaded that kind of information on you, you'd be like, goodbye.
Yeah, you'd be like,
Call your
"This
friend and
person
be
is
like,
fucking insane. This is the biggest red flag in dating for sure."
text your friend and be like, call me and pretend you're my mom and say you're dying. Like, whatever you need to do to get out of it.
That sounds like a very specific example.
I don't know. I mean, that's like that's a very common tactic when people were going on Tinder dates. It'd be like, okay, if I text you number 2, then you have to call me because the date is not going good and I want to leave. And then you'll have like a friend call.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, the house is on fire. You need to come back. You'd be like, I'm sorry, my roommate just said our house is on fire. I need to leave. But
What about you? Have you like, what's your process for writing? Are you, because you work pretty well alone as well as I. That's what I feel. I could be wrong though.
yeah. I work. I mean, I work pretty independently on all the production. I think it's not like I find that not to be my best trait. I feel like a lot of good things can happen from collaborating with other musicians, and I collaborate a lot with vocalists because I feel very comfortable and
Yeah.
I trust. I'm not as good as I'm not as good at writing lyrics or melody as someone who I'd be collaborating with essentially. But with production, I feel like so much of my career was based on the fact that I was a woman and a lot of people discrediting the music that I made it a point not to work with other people because I wanted everyone to know like, hey, I'm producing all of this and I'm engineering all of this, mixing all of this on my own. Whether it's bad or not doesn't matter because you all know that I did it. And
Right.
even though that was something that really helped propel me as an artist, I feel like, you know, lots of great music could be made if I had decided to kind of chill, I guess, a bit on that sort of chip on my shoulder and actually work with other people. So I'm trying to be better at it with collaborating.
How many albums have you put out?
At this point, I think 4. So the one I put out this past year was my 4th album. And then I put out lots of like EPs and like, I'll call them mini albums because I feel like there's a lot of thought behind them, but essentially it would be an EP. And so yeah, over the course of the last 10 years, I've put out 4 albums and countless EPs and little projects. So I feel like my output's pretty decent.
Yeah. Your output is great. You have like the quality that I like respect the most in producers is that like, oh, I can just tell that you're in it for like longevity, and that's like pretty much all I give a fuck about.
Yeah, I just want to make music for as long as possible. I don't want to be in and out. I don't want to. I mean, it's been a very slow and steady kind of rise for me, but I think that was good because I really feel like I've learned a lot about this industry and what it's like to be an artist, and it's kept me really grounded. And yeah, I'm excited for wherever this goes. And I like helping other artists now and using kind of the position I'm in to help raise other people. And obviously, I love just seeing my friends also continue to shine because I've known you for a long ass time now.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. And we did like remix swap for each other randomly. You did one
Yeah,
so long ago.
I know.
I
I
was like,
remembered. I was like, he owes me one.
yeah. And I was more than happy to do it because like I love that song you sent me that you asked me to remix as well. So
Yeah, you really killed it too. Like that, your version of We Love was like really incredible. So if anyone hasn't checked out the Felix Cartal remix of We Love by me and MNDR, you guys should because it's.
and the TOKiMONSTA remix of New Scene by me. Is
Oh, I know. Oh my God, that was so long ago.
I actually remember.
2012, maybe.
I actually remember when I was at my manager's house at the time when you like emailed it to us, I guess. And Lewis was there, and then he was like, "Oh, play it." And I remember he like put it on, and like within like 5 seconds, I can see Lewis in the chat, so this is why I'm telling the story. And and he was just like, he's like, "Oh, she smashed it," and it was just like, I was like, "It's only been playing for 4 seconds." But I was like, "That's a good manager, right?"
That is a good manager.
Yeah. So I always remember that story. It was great.
Yeah.
But you did smash it. The record's great. I loved your spin on it, so thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. I mean, it's so funny because that's a version of myself that existed then, but like now a version like who I am as an artist is so completely different. You know, you just really evolve and change and move around.
I was going to ask you, I was kind of thinking about this since we talked about albums. Do you feel like do people like try to dissuade you from doing albums? Like with a streaming climate, you know, like these types of things.
Oh, for me, nah. Like I think I'm such an album artist. I'm not like a very typical kind of like dance producer, even though I'm in the electronic sphere. So albums have usually done well for me, except last year was a pandemic, so I didn't get to tour it, which was unfortunate.
Yeah.
I do like the idea, and this is coming from me and what I want to do. I like the idea of doing some singles and just having fun too, like putting out music that doesn't need to be attached to a whole concept. Because for me, everything is so conceptual. Like an album is a concept from the first song to the second song, the last song, and it means that you have to kind of adhere to something that keeps it really cohesive. But a single is just like, yo, I just made this fucking fire ass beat and it slaps, and it doesn't belong anywhere. I just want to put it out, and that's kind of the fun of a single.
That's funny. I almost have like the opposite feeling about singles and albums. I love making albums too, and I'm like, I will defend albums forever because that's basically like how I listen to music. Like anytime I'm putting on something, I'm usually putting on an album most of the time. I'll put on
the original playlist.
Yeah, exactly. And I like to, if someone I like put the effort to make an album, like I want to give them the respect of like listening to it from the beginning to the end because I know how much work it can be. But I would say on the opposite, I actually feel like when I'm making a single, there's like more pressure because it's like, oh, here's the single. Whereas like when on an album, then it's like, oh, now I can just make this random beat and like it can be track 7, and that's where I can like experiment more. I feel like.
Ooh, that's interesting. I guess it's because like maybe it's because we're
in different lanes a little bit.
Yeah, you're such a beast. I always think that's such a weird term to use, but you are, you're quite a force in dance world and music that people DJ and things that will chart in dance, straight up dance. Like I can't get away with. Well, I mean, I can make some dancey things, but like your stuff is like I could dance to more than my stuff, if that makes sense. But not like it's a competition on who can dance to what song's dancier. But yeah, I could see that there's more pressure because you have to make a song that's so big and significant because it's also really competitive in dance single world. Like if you're not doing like, I don't know, like whatever Major Lazer, like Lean On or like Deep Down Low or like whatever Cascade song, it's like you don't want it to fall into the ether because you have that single and that single should do something, For me, I feel like there's a little less pressure. I'm like, if my single doesn't do amazing, I'm just going to put out another one and hopefully that one does amazing. Yeah. That's been my whole entire career.
I feel the same way too. Like I'm always like, whatever, I'll just fucking make another song. Like it's not like the end of the world. Can't like focus on the outcome before you've had the outcome, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah. People get so obsessed with that, like goal-oriented behavior, And if you have expectations, you're going to get very disappointed. Yeah. So
I've actually like tried to separate myself from the single mentality because I find it to be very counterintuitive to being a creative person because you're like
Mm-hmm.
trying to put all your chips in one basket. So like my new approach is I just kind of work on groups of songs. I'll send them to my label, and then I don't really give a fuck which ones they pick to be like, oh, this could be maybe a single, because I'm like, I'm only gonna send you stuff that I love all of it,
Mm.
and that way, like,
That's a good approach.
then I'm like, whatever, like, yeah, you like that one, that's fine. Like, I like them all, so let's just, who cares?
That's actually a really good approach as well. I think when you're like, well, I love them all. It's kind of like, these are all my babies. And you guys can decide which one's the prettiest one, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. It's so hard to get music out there still, though. It's still like, I want to be sort of like incubated from it a little bit too. Cause like, you know, as I scroll through TikTok, I see all this like, this is how you get more play. I'm just like, I just don't want to even care about any of this shit.
Yeah, TikTok is one of those things where I like watching lots of like cat TikToks and like things like that, but
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
like humor TikTok. I can't even like producer tips. I'm like, no, get me out of this weird rap. I don't want producer tips on TikTok.
Yeah, that's the thing about TikTok is the algorithm, right? Because it just adjusts so quickly. You watch like 3 TikTok dance videos, and it's gonna be 5 hours of TikTok dance videos. You gotta like get out of the algorithm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not very good.
Once you're stuck in dance TikTok, it's you can't get out.
It's a thing. I'm not good. I think I'm not like confident enough to be like on TikTok. You have to be like really confident to be good at TikTok because you have to be like, this is me doing a thing. And like you have to like convince yourself that you're good at it, you know? Like this is me doing a dance, and I would just be like, I'm terrible at this dance. I can't do this, you know? It'd just be a nightmare. But I don't know, maybe I should try it. You're kind of doing the TikTok thing.
Yeah, but I'm just like doing it stupidly. Like I literally am just like, oh, I have this dumb idea that was like feels too stupid to post on like my Instagram account. Let's just put it on TikTok because I only have 500 fucking followers on there. Like, who gives a shit?
This is true. I had this.
I could do kind of like that about it. Like, there's this like throwaway mentality to it, which I can be creative in a weird way because it's like sometimes you like once you build up a social for something, you start to then like feel the pressure of like the audience at a certain point. So sometimes I like having like no audience. Like I like that no one sort of like knows about my TikTok because I can just sort of like try things.
This is true. I mean, now everyone has to be like,
no one follow my TikTok because
I know. I'm like, what's your TikTok handle again? You know what I messed up on is so for my TikTok handle, I guess TOKiMONSTA was taken because some dick TOKiMONSTA is fine. And then I had changed it to TikTokimonster because I thought I was like, oh, that's kind of clever. And then but I was like, oh, if I make it like that, then maybe people won't find me. So I changed it to TOKiMONSTA Music. And afterwards, everyone's like, why didn't she make it TikTokimonster? You know, get it? Like TikTokimonster.
Yeah,
and I was like, well, now I can't change it. So this is just the way it's going to be. And I also like thought about just turning my TikTok into just a cat account and just like make it all TikToks about my cat, even though it's supposed to be about me. I haven't done it yet though.
That would be good. I would.
Yeah.
I'll smash that follow.
Yeah, I think like animal stuff on TikTok is a good thing. Like everyone wants to watch some silly animal thing.
Who doesn't like cats? You know, come on.
I mean, probably a lot of people actually.
I know.
I was like, ooh, not a good question. Someone's gonna say.
We don't need to get into that. That's a whole other thing.
Let's play another song. We can like talk over it because this one, I just feel like listening to it too. So Everything in Its Right Place by Radiohead.
I got a couple of nigiri as well.
Ooh, you went in.
I got Maguro, which is red tuna, and Hamachi's yellowtail. Is that what
Yellowtail? Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, good. This salad's actually really good, by the way. It's like a grain bowl. With like rotisserie chicken in it, like roasted chicken.
What's the out of 10? What's that salad for you?
Like an 8.5 or 9 almost. It's really good.
Damn. What was the place called again?
Zinc. It's spelled Zinque.
Okay.
And
I'll add it to my list for when I come to LA.
You know why this is good? It's because it's a grain bowl, so it's not just salad. There's like brown rice on the bottom. But it has brown rice, avocado, this really amazing like roasted chicken that's kind of been tossed with kind of maybe like a little light dressing, and there's some really fresh tomatoes, shaved Parmesan, and arugula. And everyone loves a good arugula moment. So, yeah, it's really tasty.
Sounds
I don't
so
even know
bomb.
if it's healthy anymore. But this soup is really good as well. I just have like tons of like green stuff stuck in my teeth now. Like arugula and like I think there's like cilantro in here, and so I'm trying to like
It's okay.
fish it
I have
out of my mouth.
I got gomite stuck in my teeth too, so we're on the same page.
But just like have these little green caps.
Right.
This song is so amazing, by the way, and it's old. It's a really old track now.
I think it's 2000.
This wasn't on OK Computer. Which album was this on?
This is Kid A.
Kid A, that's right. Oh yeah, also obviously really good. It was a part of the Vanilla Sky soundtrack. Remember that movie?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. You like that movie?
No. I was so young when it came out that I remember thinking it was like really mind blowing, but I don't know if the reviews were really good and stuff. I just remember like Cameron Diaz was on it, and it was Tom Cruise, and it was kind of a very heady film, right? It's like
Yeah, it's
a
like-
bit psychological.
Like Tom Cruise being ugly, so that was like a big thing because he like his face gets all fucked up in it, right?
Yeah, and I
Like, that was
remember
a huge talking point. Like, wait, the hot actor guy is like hideous and deformed for the movie, and then that was like how they sold it or something.
Yeah, and again, like spoiler alert, didn't like Cameron Diaz like also like she was like really obsessive and she like died in it or something. I remember it having like a dark element too.
It's like Cameron Diaz and Penelope Cruz, and it's kind of like this weird triangle thing. And I think it sort of gets into like someone thinks they're dating someone and they're not, or I think it's like this weird. I can't fully remember the plot. It was like supposed to be a mindfuck film for sure.
Yeah, I remember that. It's a mindfuck film, and I just remember like maybe things repeat, like they kind of play it out of order. And I remember Cameron Diaz being angry and like maybe killing herself or some like component of that.
So my family, we used to do this thing where we would go and like see a movie together once a year around Christmas time, and like we'd had some good ones like Toy Story and stuff. It like started obviously when we were young, and then as we got older, you know, we want to see a little more like not always a child movie. And we saw Vanilla Sky one year as a family, and everyone just like collectively agreed like this was the worst idea ever because it was so like, just like wasn't like it's Christmas time. We're trying to like just have a nice afternoon, and it was like everyone was like, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah, you guys want to watch Elf, not like
Yeah, we did see Elf one year, and that was much better. But
Oh my God.
yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, that is not a family film for sure.
That song though, that's such a good song. I forgot that was in that film.
I kind of want to rewatch it. Do you remember
Me
it being
too.
good?
I remember
I
it
think it's
being interesting, but I don't remember. Like, I feel like I remember the ending being disappointing. So when that happens, I'm always like, does the film suck now, or is it just the ending that sucks? I don't know.
What's your favorite film? Do you have one? Maybe one of your favorite films. I know it could be a loaded question to ask on the spot, but
This is tough. I do like Lost in Translation a lot. I don't know if that's like cliche answer. I just like that movie because I love traveling so much, and I feel like it paints like a pretty honest vignette of like a city, which I find hard to find in films. I don't know. I gotta think about it more. That's a hard one to answer on the spot. I liked Her a lot too.
yeah. Her was Spike. No, not Spike Jones. Was it? Yeah, it was Spike Jones.
It was Spike Lee.
I know. No, sometimes like in film wise, sometimes every now and then I'll get Wes Anderson and Spike Jones mixed up. But Wes Anderson, his films tend to be like a little bit more like quirky. And then
Yeah.
there's also, and then now in the mix is like Taika Waititi, who did Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, and that was like, it's always really heartwarming, but always like there's always some component of his film that's quite sad.
Yeah,
But
but it was quite like that movie was hilarious to me at the same time. I love that about it.
yeah, I know they had this like Mickey Mouse kind of like Hitler kind of character, and it was just so
Yeah.
funny Because also like Taika Waititi's like half was it Maori? So he looks so not like technically looks so not like Hitler,
Right.
you know?
Because that's he's the director and he's playing Hitler character, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in a lot of his own films, and he always has that one guy from Flight of the Conchords in his films too.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there's another song I put on the list which I actually like got back into because I saw it in a film recently.
Okay. Is it the Remy Wolf one?
No, it's the other sad one, the old one, Crosby.
Oh yeah, Helplessly Hoping.
Yeah.
Okay, let's listen to that one. Or do you want to introduce the song?
So like this was in Annihilation. I don't know if you ever saw that. It's like Alex Garland who did like Ex Machina.
That film was also kind of a head fuck. It was beautifully done, like beautifully horrific. If that makes
Annihilation.
sense. Yeah, that's the one with Natalie Portman, right?
Yeah, I'm not like a huge sci-fi person, but I did find that one to be. It felt a little bit different to me. Like I just felt fresh, like a fresh idea, which I liked about it. And I really like Oscar Isaac as an actor, so I'm usually gravitate towards anything he's in.
Okay, let's listen to this track, Crosby, Stills, and Nash, Helplessly Hoping, and let's talk more about that film because that was a good one.
Also love this record because it's obviously three guys, Crosby, Stills, and Nash, but you can like really hear, like I feel like it's literally one guy in the center, one guy left ear, one guy right ear, and I like that about the mix.
Oh, that's so interesting because I have headphones. I have headphones on, so I can really hear. They're really hard panned. They're like one's all the way over here, and one's like all the way over here.
Yeah, and then one directly in the center. So it's like I was like, oh, it's a trio. It's just like it feels obvious, but it's kind of weird at the same time.
It's kind of trippy actually, because you don't hear a lot of older songs panned quite like this.
Totally.
I like that. I like spatial mixing. Just like everything in consideration of where you are sitting and standing in the mix.
100%. Beatles are pretty good at that for sure. That's why I like the Beatles a lot.
Yeah, they're great.
Me and my friend have this joke about Eleanor Rigby by the Beatles because the vocals are one side and I'm pretty sure the strings are like basically the other side. Mm-hmm. So like the joke is like if you only have one speaker, like you better really like either classical music with no singing or really like acapellas. Because it's like like you literally don't even hear the other parts if you only have one speaker, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. When I used to work with samples a lot, I would notice that too. It'd be like one guitar would be like very much on the left and just the bass would be on the right. And I'm like, what? It made it easy to like then, isolate sounds. But I would always be like, this is not how people mix things now. This is very different.
Yeah, I wonder why yeah, I wish people take more chances like that sometimes. Maybe I got to do it.
You got to be the one.
If I want to hear it, I guess I just should do it.
That got to be you now. You're the guy.
Is that guy that always pans stuff? That's me.
That's the panning guy. Yeah, I love doing panning. I like do lots of like, I like playing with lots of like effects panning. So like, I do a lot of things where like I have vocals that go across from left to right.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you just automating that straight up or are you, okay, cool.
Lots of like manual automation and like all the music that I do, there's like a lot of that. So things that start on the left, on the right and left. And I get, that feeling of balance. You're like, okay, too many things are happening on the left side. So a lot of things more things have to happen on the right side. And
totally.
you get kind of OCD about it, but yeah, I don't know. It's fun.
I find that happens when you like, you might listen to something you're working on with headphones, and then you're just like, "Oh shit, this is actually all quite centered." And then it's just like listening to it on a different system is what sort of exposes those ideas for me.
100%. You know what it is? It must be because I work a lot on headphones. I mean, I have monitors, but sometimes I'm like, I don't want to go to my studio. I just want to work on my kitchen table today, or I want to work in my living room. So I'm always putting on headphones. So
I'm the same way. I pretty much finish all my mixes on headphones still.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm just like, I have really lovely monitors, and I do use them, but sometimes you just get so used to your headphones. Which ones are you using to mix? Are those the Audio Technica?
Yeah, I had like a pair of Audis or Odyssey. How do you say it? Do you know? Audeze? Anyways, those are really nice, but they're like, I actually got them as a gift, and they're like, I looked up, they're like $1,200. Like, Jesus, these are like monitor pricing, but I still just always come back to these, and they're like $250. So
Yeah, those are the best ones. I have gone through 2 pairs of those. I had the white ones, and then they started looking like dandruff because they start to crack at the headband.
So, like, the leather comes off a bit.
Yeah, so now I have the black pair. I think they slightly updated it too. It's like the ATH M50 Plus or X, something like that. Yeah. But then now it's like my hair is blonde, so I would have black crumples in my hair. So I don't know what's better. But
yeah, and I think the other thing the reason I like headphones is like I don't want to be like restricted to only mixing on my monitors because like you travel a lot, you want to be flexible and be able to work kind of whenever. So I think I like to trust my headphones for that reason.
Yeah, that's really true. I used to go between a couple headphones too. I'd use like those ones, which I've used for like a decade, and then I'd go to the original like Beats by Dre Studio. They changed it, so they're different now, but like the original ones, which are really fatiguing on your ears, but they had a really good bass response, so I'd go between the both of them. But
like fatiguing, just like how they feel.
Like they're fatiguing. Like after a while, your ears start to hurt, and you start getting like a headache. I don't know if you've had that before too, and it's just pressing on like.
Yeah, I get that a little bit with these after like, but it's like 7 or 8 hours, so it's not too bad.
Yeah,
probably should be stopping at that point, anyways.
I know you can't. What are you doing at that point? Just like listening forever. Yeah, you have to keep them on your head for a long time before you realize that headphones can actually start to cause pain. But no one would know that because no one typically wears headphones straight for that long. But yeah, so let's see. Helplessly Hoping came out in 1969. It's about Still's imminent breakup with Judy Collins.
Oh, interesting.
And the song is on their debut self-titled album. So
I was I went to my uncle has a cabin sort of you take a short ferry ride there, and I went up there to work on some music during kind of like when we were quarantining, and I just had like all that stuff in Creedence Clearwater on like loop while I was up there because I'm like, I'm in the woods, I gotta like listen to like woodsy sounding music for some reason. Yeah, I was like putting that stuff on, just like making a fire each night, and it was a good little trip during my it was one of my favorite like pandemic activities, I guess. So that's kind of why I wanted to play it as well.
Oh, that's really nice. It's do you find yourself going into nature a little bit more because of the pandemic? More free time?
No.
Really. Okay, well, you never know.
I definitely like to walk. Like I'm always trying to like walk every day for at least a good amount of time because I find that to be very. I don't know. It's just like you just get ideas when you kind of like put a little motion into your day.
This is true. This is very true. I guess like it's nicer to walk around in Vancouver, and also Vancouver feels a bit more in nature. I feel like you probably don't need to seek it out as much. But when you're in LA, you're like, this is a concrete jungle. So everyone's been kind of like going to Joshua Tree, Palm Springs, Big Bear. Sure, yeah. I don't know how many people I've seen going to Utah, but Utah seems to be a big thing for people in LA right now. And not Sedona. Oh yeah, Sedona. That's another one. Lewis knows because Lewis was in Sedona.
I've heard of the people going to Sedona. I've definitely heard that on.
Everyone's like, yeah, there's like a vortex something or other there, and I'm like, cool. It's funny that I say that because I actually went to Sedona and I like visited Lewis when he was there for like a week or something. So I too have done the things that the other peoples are doing. Cause
good to do the things.
Sometimes things are they just need to be done, right?
Yeah, true. I agree. Things need to be done.
Yes. I mean, if no one's going to do the things, I have to do the things. So, exactly. And if I'm not going to do the things, then you can do the things. Everyone else can do the things.
I'll do the things.
Okay. All right. So then there's a deal there. We're actually reaching the end of our show, and I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. And obviously, it's really great to see you because it's been so long since I've been able to hang out and talk with you. Can you share with us the program that I'm going to be on? Maybe we can segue some of these people over to that one.
Yeah, that'd be great. So starting in the middle of February, I believe February 11th or something, I'm doing this thing called the Chopped Up Challenge, where I'm going to create 4 little vocal samples, and producers will have 72 hours to flip it into like a 1-minute beat or song. And then we're going to judge the judge kind of like the top 10 live on Twitch. I'll listen through them. And then at the end of each episode, I'm going to be calling in a guest judge. And you are, I believe, the last judge. So that'll be like in the middle of March at some point. And yeah, we're going to listen to some music and offer some advice, hopefully, and then pick the winner together. So
bad advice. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, exactly. We're going to pretend like we know what we're talking about for a little bit. And yeah, and then we got a bunch of gifts, like Native Instruments is giving away like their full Native Complete and all these things. So there's all these awesome prizes. FelixCartal.com/chopped if you want to sign up if you're a producer in the chat. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on and being a judge for that, because it's gonna be so fun.
Of course. And I'm excited to hear all these fire beats that people send in. Who else is on it? Because I know you have some other heavy hitters planned to do some judging.
Yeah, so Cascade is the first one, Zed is the second, and then Dr. Fresh is the third, and then you bring it home.
That's me. That is me. So I'm excited to be doing that because unfortunately for everyone or not for you guys, but I guess for me and for everyone, this is actually going to be the last episode of Lost Resort for a little bit. So for now, the show will be on hiatus, and hopefully at some point we'll bring it back. But for now, you'll see me next on Felix Cartal's show, judging your beats, which I hope are good because I want to say nice things. I want to be like the nice judge, you know?
Oh, you'll be the nice judge.
Like the Paula Abdul, you know, like
who's going to be the Simon Cowell of those 4 judges? I'm trying to think.
I don't know, because it's just between you and me.
Zed.
So
probably Zed will be the mean judge, I think.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be like, I don't know. I can get pretty critical. I can be like, you know, I don't know. I'm gonna come up with a good judging personality before I get online and think about what I want to do. Like, do I want to be good cop or bad cop? What are you gonna be though? I
think like, you know, you'll just be. We'll only be listening to the cream of the crop at that point. So I think, you know, we won't have to be. We're not going to be like American Idol style where that like one person comes on and then who like doesn't know what they're doing and then we have to like figure out how to be polite. I think it'll all be really good stuff at that point.
But we need like one William Hung. Do you know that I ran into, but I saw William Hung at a Costco in Los Feliz. Yeah, even like I was like, that's William Hung just by himself at Costco. And then my boyfriend also saw William Hung 2 other places. He's seen William Hung in the wild 3 times. You remember him? He was like the original meme kind of. Yeah, he was the one. Wonder what he's doing now.
Was that first season of American Idol?
I think so. He did the Ricky Martin, She Bangs or whatever. Yeah.
He like put out albums and stuff afterwards.
I think so.
Does he know like he's in on the like he knows he's bad?
I'm not entirely sure because there's a part of me that thinks that maybe, you know, I don't know, like, I don't want to make any assumptions, but I'm not entirely sure. But I know that if at the end of the day he was able to kind of at least cash in a little bit on that, so hopefully that balanced out whatever. I don't know. It was a little mean, but hopefully he was just like, you know what, I just got paid bazillions of dollars, so it's fine.
True. Yeah.
True.
I don't know. Well, we're gonna have fun. And
I'm gonna Google him as soon as we're done with this chat. So
me too.
What is
William
also? I
should probably doing? I have a song coming out too next Friday that I feel like I was supposed to mention that. This is like, I don't go on podcasts very often, so I don't know how to promote myself clearly.
He's just a humble guy.
But I got a song with Kiara coming out next Friday called Happy Hour. So yeah, it's on my Instagram if you want to pre-save it or whatever people do with music these days.
Pre-save his song, you guys. He has a new track with Kiara coming out, and it's called Happy Hour because we all need one. So thank you so much. Thank you, everyone watching. I'll see you guys next time. And in the meantime, please continue to support your local restaurants. Please continue to listen to new music, and we'll see you all very soon. So bye, you guys.
Thanks so much.
Yep.